What kinds of appointments do you make in your life? Where do you go to make your appointments? What kinds of things do you do when you make appointments? Tell me what you exactly do when you make these appointments. Tell me about the banks in your country. What do they typically look like? Where are they usually located? What do you do from the moment you walk into the bank until you walk out? Tell me everything about what goes on when you visit the bank. You've indicated that you like to go to the beach. Tell me about a beach that you like to go to. What does this place look like? What kinds of things do you like to do when you go to the beach? Tell me about the activities you typically do when you go to the beach. You've indicated that you go to coffee shops. Tell me about the cafes in your community. What do you normally do when you go to coffee shops? Do you have meetings or gatherings there? Tell me what you like to do. You indicated in the survey that you like to take vacations domestically. Tell me about some of the places you like to travel to and why you like going there. Can you tell me about things you do in order to prepare for trips? Describe a family or a friend you have. What is he or she like? What is special about that person? Tell me about what you do with your friends or family members when you meet them. Tell me about visits to a friend's or a family member's house. What do you normally do when you go there? What kinds of clothes do people in your country typically wear? Are there different clothes for work and for play? Tell me about the clothes in your country. What kinds of clothes do you like to wear personally? What are you wearing today? What kind of fashion style do you like? Give me all the details about your fashion style. I would like to know how people dress in your country. What kinds of clothes do they wear for work or play? What do you do when you go shopping? Where do you go and what do you look for? Tell me about your typical shopping habits in detail. Many people try to eat healthy these days. What kinds of foods are healthy and why are they healthy for us? What are some of the popular dishes in your country? What is special about the dish? Please describe in detail. What are some of the typical foods in your country? What dishes are popular? How do you shop for healthy food? What kinds of things do you have to do to cook healthy food? What do you eat on a regular day? Tell me everything that you eat in detail. Where do people in your country go to in their free time? Do they go to beaches? Do they go to parks or any other places? What are some popular free time locations in your country? What do people typically do in their free time? What is special about those activities? Tell me about the furniture you have in your home. Is there a piece that is your favorite? Tell me about how you use your furniture on a typical day. What kinds of things do you do with your furniture? You indicated that you play games. What kinds of games do you like to play? Why do you like playing game? What is your favorite game? Why do you like it? What are the rules? Where do people usually have celebrations or gatherings in the area where you live or work? Is it at someone's home, or a park, or somewhere else? Tell me everything about that place in as much detail as you can. Talk about gatherings and celebrations in your country. What do people do when they get together or celebrate things? Tell me about some of the gatherings or celebrations that happen at where you live. Describe your country's geography for me. Are there mountains, lakes, or rivers? What is your country like? I'd like you to describe a favorite place in your country from your childhood, and describe that place for me. What do you remember of that place? What was it like when you were a child? Tell me a little bit about a neighboring country close to your country. Tell me what the country looks like, about its people, and some of its traditions. I'd like for you to describe a favorite place in your country from your childhood, and describe that place for me. What do you remember of that place? What was it like when you were a child? Tell me about the outdoor activities that are popular in your country. Do people go hiking, biking, or swimming? What do people typically do outdoors? Please tell me about what kinds of free time activities people in your country do. I'd like to ask you to describe a healthy person you know of. What makes that person healthy? Why do you think that way? Tell me everything about the things that make that person healthy. Tell me about some popular holidays in your country. Where do people typically celebrate their holidays? What kinds of things do they do to celebrate? Tell me about the hotels in your country. What are these places like? Tell me what you typically do when you go to a hotel. What do you do first, second, and so on? When do you usually stay at hotels? I would like to know where you live. Can you describe your home to me? What does it look like? How many rooms does it have? Give me a description with lots of details. I would like to know about where you live. Talk about the different rooms at your place. Tell me about your favorite room in your home. What does it look like? I would like to now talk about where you live. What is your favorite room in your home? What does it look like? Talk about the place you lived in and the surrounding area when you were a child. What do you remember about that place? Describe your home in your early childhood in as much detail as possible. What is your normal routine at home? What things do you usually do on weekdays and what kinds of things do you do on weekends? What is your normal routine at home? What things do you usually do during the weekdays? What kinds of things do you do on the weekend? What kinds of things do you do to keep your house clean and comfortable? What kinds of housework do you do at home? Tell me about your normal routine at home. What do you do on weekdays and on weekends? What is your responsibility at home or in your family? What is your role? Tell me in detail. I would like to now talk about where you live. Tell me about the different responsibilities in your home. Who is responsible for what? How do things get done? Talk about one of the rising industries or companies in your country. Why is that industry or company famous and what is special about it? Talk about a promising company of the industry you mentioned about. What is special about that company? Tell me about the benefits the industry is providing. What kinds of benefits does it bring about? What kinds of companies do young people want to work for these days? Why do they want to work for those companies? What do people usually do on the internet? Do they play games, watch television, etc.? Talk about the things people do online in detail. What do you normally do on the internet? Do you like online shopping? Do you like sharing videos you've watched? Tell me about everything that you do online. Talk about the videos that you watch on the internet. They can be about work, school, or leisure activities. What types of videos do you typically watch? You indicated in the survey that you like to watch movies with adults. What kinds of movies do you like to watch? Why do you like those types of movies? Who is your favorite movie star? Talk about recent news about your favorite actor or actress. Start by telling me about his or her background and then describe in detail about what happened on the news. What interested the fans? Tell me what you usually do when you go to the movies. Who do you like to go with? What do you do before and after the movie? You indicated in the survey that you listen to music. What kinds of music do you listen to? Who are some of your favorite musicians or composers? When and where do you usually go to listen to music? Do you listen to the radio? Do you go to concerts? Tell me about the different ways you enjoy music. Tell me about your neighbors. Are they nice people? Are you close to them? You indicated in the survey that you travel internationally. Could you describe for me one of the countries you've visited? What did it look like? And what were the people like there? Tell me about a popular place tourists like to go to when traveling outside your country. Why do they like visiting those locations? Where do people in your country go to when they travel abroad? Why do they like visiting those locations? What is special about the countries they visit? Talk about the things that you typically do when you visit another country or overseas city. Tell me about where tourists go and what they do on their overseas trips. You indicated in the survey that you go to parks with adults. Tell me about the kinds of parks that you like to visit. What do the parks look like? Describe what a typical visit to a park is like for you. Tell me about the things you do and see at parks. What do you like most about your phone? Maybe you like the camera, or maybe you like certain applications. Tell me why you like those features and why. Tell me when and where you talk on the phone most often. Plus, who do you talk with when you talk on the phone? Tell me when and where you talk on the phone most often. Who do you talk with most often? What do you and your friends do on your phones besides talking to each other over the phone? Do you make updates on your social media pages? Do you play games? Tell me what you typically do on your phone. I would like to know about phone calls that you make. What kinds of things do you talk about with your friends over the phone? I'd like to know about how recycling is practiced in your country. What do people specifically do? Tell me how things are recycled. Recycling is a common practice. Tell me about all the different kinds of things that you recycle. I would like to know about restaurants in your country. What do typical restaurants look like? What kinds of food do they commonly offer? How do busy working people usually get their meals on weekdays? Do they order food or go to restaurants? What do they usually do? What do you usually do for dinner during the week? Do you order food or go out to eat? Do you make your own meals? Does someone else cook for you? Do you eat alone, or eat with other people? You indicated in the survey that you like to go shopping. Talk about stores or shopping centers in your country. What are they like? Describe them in detail. Where do you go when you go shopping for something? What do you buy when you go there? What is special about that place? You indicated in the survey that you like to go shopping. Let's talk about your shopping habits. How often do you go shopping? What do you most often buy? Where do you go for your shopping? You indicated that you use social networking sites. Tell me about the kind of messages people post up in general. Tell me about the messages you post up on social networking sites. What kind of comments do you leave on other people's postings? How often do you post things up on social media? What kind of device do you use when you post things up on social networking sites? What is special about the device? Do you use a different device now compared to the past? Give me all the details. You stated in the survey that you enjoy swimming. How often do you go swimming and why do you like swimming? What are the advantages of this activity? What kinds of technology do people typically use in your country? Do people use computers, cell phones, or handheld devices? What are some common forms of technology that people use? Which piece of technology do you use most often? Do you use computers or mobile phones? Tell me about the most typical type of technology you use every day. Tell me about how people get around in your country. Do they drive their own cars or take trains? What are some typical means of transportation to get around? What means of transportation do you use to get around? Do you drive or take public transportation? How did you travel when you were a child? Were the types of transportation different back then? Describe for me how people used to get around in your city or town. Tell me about the different kinds of TV shows or movies you like to watch. Pick your favorite TV or movie character and tell me all the things that character does in the show or movie. Tell me what you usually do when you watch TV shows or movies. When do you watch it? Who do you watch it with? Where do you watch it? Tell me about your typical routine when you watch TV shows or movies. You indicated in the survey that you stay at home for vacations. Who are the people you would like to see and spend time with on your vacation? Describe some of the things that you would like to do with people you visit or see during your vacation. Tell me about the weather at where you live. How are the seasons? What is the weather like in each season? Which season do you personally like? How is the weather today at where you are? Is it cold or warm? Talk about today's weather in detail. Tell me about the weather in your country. Are there different seasons? What is the weather like in each season?